Right friends, welcome back to UPSC revision, and I thought of starting with Indian geography today because our maps are not yet ready. Probably from tomorrow we are going to start this geographical aspects of India, and today also we will continue with the miscellaneous items, and majority of which are pertaining to science and technology or wildlife. So, they will be highly beneficial to you. And let us start. The first one is GARV mobile app. GARV mobile app was developed for monitoring the progress of electrification of unelectrified villages. Here 2-3 things do not forget. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana DDUGJY is for electrification of villages. Government's target is to ensure 100% electrification by 1st May 2018, and now the villages electrified will be updated through this GARV app, and here 350 Gram Vidyut Abhiyantas are also deployed in the field, and they will update in the GARV app with regard to the progress with the photographs, data and other information. And now the GARV updated app has been launched for monitoring household electrification in around 6 lakh villages, and it has got a special feature of Samvad, engaging the citizens for establishing transparency and accountability. So, do not forget DDUGJY, at the same time GARV mobile app, Gram Vidyut Abhiyantas, these things do not forget. Let us move on. There is a lot of or you can say several times this anchor investors is into the news, and it is very much essential to understand the meaning of anchor investors to understand green growth equity fund. So, without understanding anchor investors, it is not possible to understand green growth equity fund. So, let us understand this. Anchor investors, these are institutional investors like sovereign wealth funds. Sovereign wealth funds are the funds maintained by the normally oil rich countries. The surpluses, they maintain it as sovereign wealth fund, and mutual funds, pension funds, insurance funds, these are all long term funds, especially pension funds and insurance funds are long term funds. And anchor investors means before, or you can say at the time of company going for IPO, initial public offer, let us say Reliance Industries is going for 10,000 crores of IPO. Let us assume a new company is going for rupees 10,000 crore initial public offer, and there 3,000 crores, let us assume, they will be subscribed initially by the long term investors, or you can say long term institutional investors like wealth funds, mutual funds, pension funds, insurance funds. They will invest up to 30% or so in the total value of IPO. You may have a doubt why these anchor investors invest initially. The anchor investors investment is basically, it boosts the popularity of the issue and provide confidence to the potential investors. If persons like you and I wants to invest, by looking at the anchor investors investments in the IPO up to some limit, they cannot go beyond some limit, please understand. So, up to some limit depending on the anchor investors investments, then normal customers like you and me will get the confidence. So, the anchor investors are the institutional investors who are offered shares in an IPO a day before the offer opens. They are supposed to anchor the issue by agreeing to subscribe to shares at a fixed price. So, the important point to note is, because of the investments by anchor investors, people like you and me will get confidence, that is the first thing. Second thing is, it enhances popularity of the issue. And what are the rules and regulations I have enlisted here. If you want in detail, you can go through them. From examination perspective, they may not be that important. What is important is, what is the meaning of anchor investors. and Green Growth Equity Fund. All of you might have read the news item that UK India jointly launched Green Growth Equity Fund. What is the meaning of it? It is also just like anchor investment. Now UK and India each will contribute 120 million pounds. They will pool up 120 million pounds each, and the idea is when countries are pooling up some investment on their own, other investors will come forward, right. So, that is the meaning. The fund aims to raise around 500 million pounds. So, India and UK will invest up to 120 million pounds each. So, in Green Growth Equity Fund, you can say India and UK governments are anchor investors. By looking at the investments made by these two countries, then private investments or private investors will come forward, right. So, it aims to leverage private sector investment from London to invest in green infrastructure projects in India. So, it is expected from London, huge investment is expected, and to facilitate that, as a first step, India and UK contributed 120 million pounds each, that is anchor investment. So, both the governments reaffirmed their commitment to anchor invest, very important, to anchor invest up to 120 million pounds each in a joint fund, and this will be under NIIF framework, and most important, it aims to leverage private sector investment from London to invest in green infrastructure projects in India, renewable energy projects or green infrastructure projects, right. Then Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the 28th meeting of Northern Zonal Council. And about zonal councils, there are 5 zonal councils, and I will talk about Northeastern Council separately because the formation of these councils has got separate, and here 5 zonal councils are there. They are as per States Reorganization Act, and they have advisory jurisdiction, and they may discuss any matter in which some or all of the states represented in a council, and it has got advisory jurisdiction, very important. It can advise the central government and the government of each state concerned, and what are the disputes which can be settled. I have given here, you can go through it, and these 5 zonal councils are part of the States Reorganization Act, whereas Northeastern Council has got special significance. It was formed based on Northeastern Council Act 1971, and Sikkim was subsequently added to it by taking it out from the Eastern Zonal Council. Then headwinds and tailwinds. Tailwinds describe the situation or condition that will help move growth higher. In economy, quite often we hear about tailwinds, headwinds. Here you see, headwinds means they are in the opposite direction, that oppose growth. Tailwinds means from behind, that means they propel growth. So, the difference between headwinds and tailwinds is, tailwinds describe the situation or condition that will help move growth higher, it will propel growth, the tailwinds, but headwinds, that is the situation which will make growth difficult. They are in the opposite direction. When you are going on bicycle, when the wind is in the opposite direction, then what happens? You have to exert a lot of energy to move ahead. So, these are headwinds. Tailwinds means from behind. If the air is coming from behind, then your job becomes easy when you are bicycling, right. So, headwinds, tailwinds, 2 important terms in economy, do not forget. Then pangolin and China, this is one important aspect. Pangolin is a mammal, and these scales are in high demand in China. This pangolin scales are in high demand because China traditional medicine system, in China's traditional medicine system, these have got medicinal value, and at the same time aphrodisiac What is the meaning of aphrodisiac? The meaning is increasing the sexual desire. So, here medicinal value and aphrodisiac, when you look at these two things, then these scales of pangolin are in great demand. These are the scales. Scales means, you see, these are the scales, and the scales contain keratin. Keratin is what we have in our nails. So, these scales are in great demand. That is why lot of smuggling is taking place from our country, right. And these pangolins are scaly anteaters. They are the mammals that inhabit tropical forests, dry woodlands and savannas, and several times we have news reports during the year that smuggling of scales of pangolin taking place. And look into the further aspects. There are at present 8 species that is still in existence and found in India, China, Southeast Asia and parts of Africa. The scales are made of keratin, as I have already told you. Keratin is also found in human nails, and Indian pangolin is endangered as per IUCN, and some newspapers written something else. Please check for this. Large scale poaching is taking place from countries like India and Vietnam, right. So, this is in very high demand in China because of its medicinal values and other values, right. So, now the trade is prohibited. When you look at pangolin, the trade is prohibited under Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, which is known as CITES Convention. So, its trade is banned as per CITES Convention. You may have a pertinent doubt, what is the CITES Convention? It is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. It is an international agreement between the governments, right. It aims to ensure that international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants does not threaten their survival. India also ratified this convention, and on 1st July 1975, this CITES Convention was entered into force. It is an international agreement which states adhere voluntarily, and based on the CITES framework, national laws are framed, and the species covered by CITES are listed in 3 appendices. Appendix 1 includes species threatened with extinction, and trade in specimen of these species is only permitted under exceptional circumstances. And CITES, please do not forget, it is administered by UNEP, that is one part, and its secretariat is located in Geneva, Switzerland. Right friends, these two things, this pangolin and China and CITES, these two are very, very important. Let us go ahead. BirdLife International, one of our friends suggested this when I was discussing Bombay Natural History Society. Bombay Natural History Society, we deliberated, and this BirdLife International, this is one important organization, world's largest nature conservation partnership. This is the world's largest nature conservation partnership. There are around 120 bird life partners across the world, and one per each country. And Bombay Natural History Society, what we have learnt last week, Bombay Natural History Society is into the conservation of nature, primarily biodiversity, through action based research, education and public awareness, is a member of BirdLife International representing India. So, it is an independent environmental, I am talking about BirdLife International, it is an independent environmental, not for profit, non-governmental organization or NGO, and this allow each partner to maintain its individual national identity within the global partnership. Within the global partnership, each and every individual partner can maintain their own identity. Right, this is about BirdLife International. Then let us come to economy. Zero coupon bonds. Suppose 2030 is the maturity date. 2030, the value is suppose 3 lakhs, 2030 is the maturity date. Today we are into 2017. So, the 3 lakh value bond I can purchase today at rupees 1 lakh or so. So, I will purchase that bond at rupees 1 lakh, and here I will not get any interest in between. I will not get any interest in between. I will not be paid any interest, and I am purchasing it today for 1 lakh, and I will get 3 lakhs by the end of the period or 2030. So, it is also known as accrual bond. It is a debt security. Please understand, between equity and debt, it does not pay interest. That means coupon rate will not be there. Normal bonds coupon rate will be there. If I am investing 1 lakh rupees in a bond, I will get every 6 months or so interest, maybe 7%, 6%, but in this case I will not get any interest, but these I purchase at deep discount. If I am purchasing rupees 3 lakh value of bond, or you can say I will get rupees 3 lakh by 2030, and now I will purchase it at deep discount, maybe at rupees 1 lakh. So, that is the meaning of zero coupon bond. So, it is traded at a deep discount. It renders profit at maturity when the bond is redeemed for its full face value. If the full face value is rupees 3 lakhs, which I will get by 2030, I will purchase it now at rupees 1 lakh. That is a deep discount, and I will not get any interest in between. It will have normally long maturity, and it allow the investors to plan for a long range goal. So, normal bonds or semi-annual interest payments you will have, which is known as a coupon rate. So, that is why they are called, they are giving coupons, that is why interest is called coupon rate. In normal bonds I am talking about. So, they will give coupons with a specified interest, whereas zero coupon bonds do not pay cash coupons, right friends. National Investment Fund, this is one important. This is established in November 2005. Proceeds from disinvestment of central public sector enterprises. If any disinvestment is done in central public sector enterprise, then it is to be channelized into National Investment Fund, and it will be permanent in nature, and it is managed professionally to get sustainable returns. And initially it was thought of like this, and in 2009 some changes or one time exception was given for utilization of the funds, and subsequently some changes were made from 2013-14. They may not be that important for you, and what is important is how the National Investment Fund funds can be utilized. Here you see I have given here, they can be utilized for the following purposes. So, I have listed here for what purposes they can be utilized. This is important, and some more additions were made in February 13. So, the additions also I have given here. So, from examination perspective, how the NIF funds are to be utilized, you should have clear idea about this and this, right. It is a non-lapsable fund, and please go through this because a question is normally expected with regard to NIF. India Brand Equity Foundation, and this is very important from examination perspective. It is a trust established by the Department of Commerce. It is a trust, very important. It is a trust established by Department of Commerce. It is to create and promote international awareness of made in India labels in overseas markets. It is to promote and create international awareness. Please read this, you will be very clear. It is a knowledge center for global investors, international policy makers and world media seeking updated, accurate and comprehensive information about Indian economy. So, if a foreigner wants to invest in our country, then through India Brand Equity Foundation, they can get they can get updated information, accurate information, and it will be useful for investors, international policy makers, world media seeking world media seeking updated information, and 2-3 important aspects. One is it is trust. It is established by Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry to promote and create international awareness of the made in India labels in markets overseas. And another point is to facilitate dissemination of information or knowledge of Indian products and services. India's talent, markets, growth and opportunity drive brand India. Then Tobin tax. Tobin tax is basically to look at the arbitrage. What will happen is, I will tell you, persons will purchase or exchange from dollar to euro, maybe euro to yen, subsequently to pound. So, like this, if the currency conversion is made, then probably sometimes they will have some arbitrage, they may gain some profit. So, Tobin tax is imposed basically to spot currency conversions taxation. So, Tobin tax is taxing spot currency conversions. If the persons feel that if I convert currency from dollar to euro, euro to yen, subsequently yen to pound, like that, if I convert the currency from one currency to another to so as to take short term gains because of arbitrage. So, to look into those aspects, this Tobin tax is taxing spot currency conversions. This is developed with the intention of penalizing short term currency speculation, and basically it is a means of controlling the stability of a country's currency. And the proponents of Tobin tax state that there are proponents and there are opponents. It was originally introduced in 1972. The proponents say that the tax would help stabilize currency and interest rates. The tax would help stabilize currency and interest rates, whereas the opponents say that it would eliminate any profit potential for the currency markets. Right? Kuttanad below sea level forming system. This is very important. This Kuttanad region is near Alappuja district, or you can say it spreads across around 2 districts or so, and Alappuja or Alappi, that is the famous Kuttanad region, and Kuttanad region is famous for this farming of rice below the sea level, and it is a unique and only system in India that practices rice cultivation below sea level. The major land use structure of this KBSFS means Kuttanad below sea level farming system, and vast stretches of rice fields are cultivated, and they exist in 3 landscape elements. One is Karapadam, that is upland rice fields. Next one is Kayal, wetland rice fields. Then Kari, land buried with black coal like materials. So, they are popularly known as Punchavoyals, please do not forget, and this is recognized as globally important agricultural heritage system, and it is the cultivation of rice below sea level, very important. And let us look at the next Nobel Prizes. Who got Nobel Prize? That may not be that important, but certain technology related issues are very important. This year's Nobel Prize has gone for autophagy. What is autophagy? Autophagy is how the body's cells detoxify and repair themselves. You can say this is the biological recycling of the cells. That means the biological recycling system breaks down old and dangerous proteins and turns them into fresh building blocks for the cell. So, here the process is crucial. What I mean to say is autophagy is body's internal recycling system. So, how the cells detoxify themselves and repair themselves, that is autophagy. So, it is a part of body's recycling system, and for autophagy this year's Nobel Prize for medicine was awarded, and this is very much important, which prevents, or you can say the process or understanding the cell's repair process or autophagy is very much important, which is crucial for preventing cancerous growth, warding off infections and maintaining a healthy metabolism. So, the functional autophagy has been linked to Parkinson's disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer and host of age related disorders. This is very important, do not forget. Then this year's Nobel Prize has gone to the exotic states of matter. Exotic states of matter, you may have a doubt, what is exotic states of matter? Here, when the material is cooled below certain temperature, please listen carefully, here when the material is cooled below certain set temperature, unexpected electrical properties such as superconductivity, the sudden ability of material electrons to whiz through matter with zero resistance. So, this is with regard to exotic states of matter, and this may pave the way for quantum computers and other revolutionary technologies. And here one important aspect, do not forget, exotic state of matter is unexpected electrical properties such as superconductivity and sudden ability of the electrons to whiz through the matter without any resistance or with zero resistance when the matter is cooled below the set temperature. So, this is exotic state of matter, and Nobel Prize in Physics has gone for this research on exotic states of matter in physics. Then chemistry, nanomachines, very important. The prize has gone for nanomachines, and it is the advance that paved the way for world's first smart materials, right. Here, if you go through it, one important aspect is in living organisms, cells work as molecular machines to power out organs, regulate temperature and repair damage, and because of this theory allows them to construct molecular devices 1000 times smaller than the width of the human hair. So, here because of this theory which was developed by the scientists who got Nobel Prize in chemistry, it facilitated the way for nanomachines. Nanomachines in future will be useful for delivering the drugs at specified parts of the body. They can target specified part of the body, and that is why this assumed a lot of significance. So, nanomachines research is very important. If one looks at the future developments of delivering the drugs at the targeted sites, right, then of course all of you know about this Nobel Peace Prize. Nobel Peace Prize is Juan Manuel Santos, President of Colombia, for the peace deal with the FARC rebels, and I have given about FARC rebels, please go through it. The Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences has gone to the contract theory. Contract theory is used when designing incentive package for the workers. To design incentive package for the workers, this contract theory is used, right. This analyzes many diverse issues in contractual design like performance based pay for top executives and privatization of public sector activities. Right friends, the last one is Nobel Prize in Literature. All of you familiar with Bob Dylan, and he was awarded for creating poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. So, literature, this assumed significance because it has gone for the poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. So, now the Swedish Academy recognized song lyrics with the same artistic value as poetry or novels. This is very important. Right friends, we came to the end of today's 14th revision class. Within few minutes, please do join for the question and answers revision. And one important aspect is, maybe from tomorrow we will discuss about the domestic geographical aspects of various states. Right friends, have a nice day. Please do join within few minutes. Thank you.